Hello everybody, this is Carl here from Comic Culture and the Game Store in Lincoln in England, and today I'm going to have a look at what's in the box for Last Eagles Ligny 1815. This is produced by Hexasim. It's the latest game in their Eagles of France series, following on from Waterloo and Austerlitz. I know Quatre Bras is upcoming and they are going to reprint Waterloo, which is now out of print. Really pretty game. I think you're going to like this one. Let's have a start with the box. Nice picture, obviously contemporary looking. I don't know whether it is actually contemporary or not, but you know, very attractive box cover. Going over to the back, you can see some of the map there. The maps are really gorgeous in this, and they've done a fantastic job with them. Like I say, it's the third title in the Eagles of France series. It's got 4 counter sheets, 2 back printed maps, which is pretty important, full colour playbook, full colour rule book, playing cards, play aids and dice. The designer is Walter Widowski, and the map is by Sebastian Brunel. Counter art is by Christophe Gentil-Perret, and the rules layout by Muriel Bresson. So, let's have a look what's in the box. Okay, open it up. It's a fairly small box. Everything fits in nicely. It's not a massive game, but it's well produced. Start off with a couple of dice, and then we get the series rules. Now, obviously, it's a series game, so you're going to get some series rules, and you can see the games that are in this series already. Hexasim are a French company. They're not a company I've come across a lot. I know of their games, obviously, but I don't think I've played any of their stuff before. But funnily enough, recently I've started to add quite a bit of their stuff to my collection, and really pleased that I have. So let's have a look what's in the rules. First of all, as you can see, full colour rules booklet, nicely laid out. This one's obviously in English. There's a French one as well. Some of the rules that they've got, you've got obviously a description of the counters, the sequence of play, you've got orders, you've got movement, combat, retreating, advancing, special rules for cavalry, special rules for the use of the tactical cards, which I'll show you in a bit, morale, and then there's fog of war as well. The scale is somewhere between, if you know La Bataille, La Bataille is basically going to occupy a lot more space than this. They are about 100 meter hexes, I think, or 100 yard hexes. The hexes are approximately 200 to 250 meters across. La Bataille has 20-minute turns. This has an hour turn. So you can see that the games are going to play more quickly, less detail. I wouldn't say they were, less accurate for sure, but certainly much more playable. Okay, let's have a quick look through the rules a bit more. So, nice glossary there. I always find a glossary really useful. It's one of those things that well, what does that term exactly mean? Bit of the sequence of play there. You've got orders. So what that means is you have to give your units orders, and I'll show you the maps that you use later on for those. You can either have geographical objectives, or you can just tell them to go on defense. Your activation segment phase. Each formation, when it's your turn, you can choose to activate one of your formations, and you take it in turns with your opponent to activate formations. Each formation can be activated twice a turn. It may fail, okay, which means that you're going to have to pass on that one for the time being and come back to it later on. You've got the usual things: stacking, lead units under control, description of the orders there, what the category of orders are. Okay, full colour, really nicely produced. Very impressive for a company that, isn't really that well known. I would say it was up there with anybody, really, as good as anybody that you get. Cavalry charges, you get counter charges. Okay, showing a prepared attack there, an example of play. I mean, that's a massive bit of graphic to put in. Okay, now that's just the standard rules. Okay, they're the series rules. Obviously, you then get rules for the individual games. Those series rules, by the way, are available on a PDF on the Hexasim website, and I would highly recommend downloading them. They're a very modern system. They don't feel like it's a 25-year-old or 30-year-old system where they've just tried to keep tweaking it all the time. It feels like they've designed something new, interesting, and you will recognise as being a modern system. Okay, you've got the scenarios. Okay, obviously game components there, but you've got scenarios. Short scenario, I think it's 4 turns, the first scenario. Then you've got the Streets of Ligny, the Battle of Ligny. You've got variant scenarios. Okay, variable reinforcements. You've got some variant cards. really nicely done, you know, colour pictures. The alternate Battle of Ligny, Scenario 4, alternate 16th of June, Napoleon versus Blucher. So, you know, you've got plenty to go at here. Examples of play, again, full colour, beautifully done. You know, this is just the standard by which games should be measured. Designers and player notes, okay, if you don't know that much about, you know, what happened and what they were trying to achieve in the game, that tells you a bit more. And bibliography if you want to read up some more. I've been reading quite a bit of Napoleonic stuff recently. It seems to be something I'm into, so always nice to get some more recommendations. Okay, let's have a look at the maps. The maps are a bit complicated to look at for a couple of reasons. One is it's a 2-map game effectively when you're playing the full scenario. I'll do my usual box out cutaway at this point, but just to tell you that they are double-sided. And the reason they're double-sided is that, for example, Scenario 2 is just that area. So you don't have to worry about setting up both maps, you don't have to worry about anything. And the fact that Ligny is actually in the middle of the main map means that if you just want to play the Streets of Ligny scenario, all you need is that section. Okay, really, really clever idea. And just like, it's almost like one of those moments when you think, well, why doesn't anybody else do that? This is the Scenario 2 map, the Streets of Ligny. Obviously focused on Ligny itself. Nicely zoomed in, so you've got all the important bits and nothing extra. This is the eastern map with Sombref up in the top left hand corner, Ligny down on the left hand edge, which matches up with the other map. Okay, then you've got Fleurus over on the eastern side of the map, Danfossé, then the river, then up in the top right hand corner you've got the road to Namur. They've done the same thing with this one. This is the other map, obviously. This is the map with Tongrel on it. This is the western map, but again, Scenario 1, the entire map section that you need is on the back of this. And like I say, I'll do my cutaways so you can get a little bit more detail on the map. This is the Scenario 1 map, the battle for Saint-Amand-La Haye. Bagnolet in the top left hand corner. Then Saint-Amand-La Haye there, towards the centre. Moving further down, you've got Saint-Amand itself. And then there's a ridge down the bottom left hand corner. Then you've got the western map with the road to Nivelles, Marhaye up in the top left hand corner. Moving further south you've got the river, Charleroi Road. Okay, heading further over to the east you've got Saint-Amand and Saint-Amand-La Haye, and then the woods, and then the road to Wavre. I think these maps are stunning. I just think they're beautiful. The font that they've used is gorgeous. You know, the graphic style is absolutely lovely. There's quite a few bits and pieces in the box as well to go with it. So there's your turn track. Okay, so your French and your Prussian losses. Unit identification chart. You'd be surprised how many times, especially new gamers, look at the counters and they don't know what the hell everything means. Something like this just makes it so much better. Turn effects chart on the back. Okay, terrain effects chart, sorry. Your melee table showing your possible results, die roll modifiers. On your back you've got your fire table, random special events, possibility of leaders getting killed. There's 2 copies of that. Then you've got your setup charts. I like setup charts. I like to know I've not lost anything. I like to know I've got everything set up first. So there's Scenario 1. Okay. On the back, you've got Scenario 3 and 4 for the French army. Scenario 2, the Streets of Ligny. Okay. On the back, Scenario 3, the Prussian army. Now, these are colour-coded. The tops of the counters represent the organisation. So you can see that they're different colours. So Gerard, the 4th Corps here, they've got a nice brown at the top. You look at the variable reinforcements. Okay, again, very pretty. Nothing on the back of that one. Then you've got Scenario 3 and 4 setup map.
This allows you to sort of determine your setup beforehand, deploy, and it says deploy the corresponding units within 3 hexes of the setup number. So you've got an amount of variability in how you set things up. Next thing you've got the order maps. Now the way they've done this is you pick a hex on the map that you want your formation to head towards. And when you activate that formation, if it's got an order to move, then it has to head towards that little red dot. Okay, you can give them defense orders, you can give them no orders, you can try and use initiative to activate them. But what it allows you to do is force a certain amount of planning. And changing the orders isn't automatic. You have to try and implement new orders at the start of each turn. Okay, here you've got tactical cards. These came out pretty easily from the thing, from the little sprue that they're on, so I won't mess them around too much. But, you know, pretty. There's a couple of French cards there. For example, this one, you play at the start of any turn, place the Devu counter on any French combat unit, which is not within 3 hexes of an enemy, and he's a commander. It does, however, give the Prussian player 30 victory points. So, you know, you might want to think about whether you want to do that or not. You can see there's a few cards. There's not a lot of cards. It's not a game where it's not like Combat Commander or something where you're getting, you know, a few hundred cards. Then you get, of course, last but not least, to the counters. These are basically pre-punched, so they'll pop out very easily. They're very pretty. I would like the numbers on them to be a bit larger. The numbers are basically the size, their effectiveness rating, quality, troop quality, whatever you want to call it, and then their movement. But they are clean, easy to read, nice, bright, colourful, double-sided. You take step losses when you start taking damage. So there's some French, there's some more French. You got route markers, you got fired markers. Onto the Prussians, as you might expect. Okay, still attractive, different formations, activation markers. Like I say, you can activate formations twice. So when you've activated it the first time, you put the activation 1 on. Second time, you put the activation 2 on. Now, a friend of mine's been playing this, Solitaire, recently, really highly recommends it, got me interested in it. I started looking at it and thinking, wow, this looks gorgeous. The system, I mean, I don't know, I've probably mentioned La Bataille before. I've tried playing it again recently, I've not been overly impressed. This is obviously a scale above La Bataille. This is between La Bataille and the Library of Napoleonic Battles. You're playing a full battle. You don't get the sort of approach to contact that you do with the Library of Napoleonic Battles, but on the other hand, you don't get all the rules anomalies that you do with La Bataille. So I think it occupies a really nice middle ground. Okay, hope you've enjoyed seeing that. This is Carl from Comic Culture and the Game Store saying thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you don't mind. And any questions, please feel free to ask. Cheerio!